When basketball icons speak, it's not just noise, it's wisdom earned from years of titles, rivalries, and locker room truths. So when names like Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, and George Gervin start speaking out about Caitlin Clark, this isn't just commentary, it's a statement. They're not tossing around polite compliments. They're issuing a wake-up call to the WNBA, to the media, and to every player treating Clark like an outsider instead of the future. These aren't your average analysts or internet pundits. These are the men who helped build professional basketball from the ground up. And now, they're calling out the league they once helped shape. What they're saying isn't just admiration, it's pressure. Pressure for the league to grow up, to step up, and to realize what's at stake. Because if they ignore Caitlin's impact, they risk losing the very thing the WNBA has spent decades trying to build. National relevance. They're not sugarcoating it either. Some are comparing her rise to Tiger Woods. Others are boldly pointing to the backlash she's received, saying it's rooted in jealousy, bitterness, and yes, race. Conversations the league avoided for years are now being forced into the spotlight, because legends are the ones starting them. Then there's Jeff Teague. No filters, no media polish, just raw honesty. When asked about Caitlin Clark, he didn't dodge. He said what millions are thinking, ain't nobody watching if she's not playing. That one line cuts through all the noise. Teague didn't say it to be trendy, he said it because he knows star power when he sees it. And Caitlin Clark, she's not just a star, she's the reason ratings are spiking, headlines are buzzing, and people who never watched the WNBA before are suddenly paying attention. Teague didn't just compliment her, he crowned her. And that kind of endorsement, coming from a former NBA All-Star, is impossible to ignore. Jeff Teague wasn't chatting casually like it's just another day at the barbershop. He was dead serious, a former All-Star who's competed with and against the best, putting Caitlin Clark in GOAT territory barely 2 years into her pro career. And he wasn't talking about box scores just for stats' sake. He was talking about meaning, how her numbers signal a shift in the direction of the game itself. Teague didn't predict that she'd just do well. He predicted dominance. The kind that turns highlights into hardware, stats into legacy, and names into billion-dollar brands. And here's what made it all land even harder. He said it with a straight face. No hype, no theatrics, just belief. That matters because Jeff Teague isn't known for throwing out easy praise. This is the same guy who once said he wasn't impressed by Kawhi Leonard after guarding him. So when he says Caitlin Clark has the makings of the LeBron James of women's basketball, you stop scrolling, you tune in, you listen. And then, another voice joined in. Except this one didn't even have to raise it. Michael Thompson, two-time NBA champ, father of Klay Thompson, one of the best pure shooters the game has ever seen. A man who's lived among greatness his whole life, on hardwood floors and behind championship curtains. When someone like that speaks on Caitlin Clark, it's not casual, it's confirmation. It tells you just how seismic her presence has become in the world of basketball. This isn't some fairy tale moment. Jeff Teague never blinked in front of Michael Jordan, didn't flinch around Magic Johnson, but when Caitlin Clark walked past him, the man went silent. That's not nerves, that's awe. Because what he felt wasn't about basketball talent alone. It was something deeper. Caitlin isn't just a skilled player, she's a cultural moment. The kind that makes legends stutter and makes even the most seasoned athletes take a step back and say, whoa, she's not just playing in the WNBA, she's flipping it on its head. And then comes the ultimate seal of approval. Michael Thompson, two-time NBA champion, father of Klay, someone who's spent a lifetime surrounded by greatness, calls Caitlin Clark his favorite player. Let that sink in. That's not just a compliment. That's validation from someone who knows exactly what elite looks like. At this point, Caitlin Clark isn't just making waves in women's basketball. She's cut across every line. Men's, women's, fans, critics, rookies, vets, and now, the legends. And just when it feels like the respect couldn't get any louder, here comes Magic. Magic Johnson doesn't speak lightly. He knows the pressure of carrying a league, of turning doubters into believers. He lived it. So when Magic talks about Caitlin Clark, he's not handing out flattery, he's handing over perspective, a challenge, and maybe even a crown. Because Magic doesn't just see a player, he sees what comes next. When Magic Johnson speaks, he's not throwing shade, he's setting the bar. So when he looked at Caitlin Clark and said she's not just a star, but walking the same path as legends like himself and Larry Bird, that wasn't criticism, that was high praise. He's not judging her by a different set of rules. He's placing her in the conversation with the all-time greats. That's how far she's come, and how fast. And here's the thing, Magic isn't counting her out. He's encouraging her to rise even higher. His message, the spotlight's on you. Now go and claim your crown. But not every legend kept it so. Diplomatic. Enter Reggie Miller, Hall of Famer, fearless trash talker, and one of the NBA's most clutch shooters. Reggie didn't tiptoe around the issue. When he saw the rough treatment Caitlin Clark's been facing, he didn't call for patience or composure. Nope, Reggie said, what many fans have been thinking quietly. It's time to fight back. It's just a casual complaint, it's a boiling point. And it's not coming from Caitlin Clark. It's Reggie Miller who's fed up. He's been watching the cheap shots, the blatant fouls, and the deafening silence from both the league and her fellow players. And he's calling it out. Why? Because when a player is driving your ratings, packing arenas, and drawing national attention to your league, you don't leave her out to dry. You protect her. Full stop. The fact that no one has, that's exactly why Reggie's speaking out. It's not about stirring drama, it's about demanding action. And if that means one big moment, one wake-up call to finally shift things, then so be it. And Reggie's not the only one sending that message. Loud and clear. Enter Robert Horry. The man's got 7 NBA titles and a reputation for letting his words hit as hard as his clutch shots. When Shaquille O'Neal said Caitlin Clark just needs to wait her turn, Horry didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't tiptoe around it. He blew the entire narrative wide open with a single sentence. Let's be clear, this wasn't just a comeback. It was a challenge. A direct shot at anyone still thinking Caitlin Clark needs to earn her respect or bide her time. Corey's not having it. Not when the league is cashing in on her name. Not when she's the reason the WNBA is dominating headlines right now. Truth is, Caitlin has done more for the league in a few months than some veterans managed in a decade. And Corey sees it for what it is, game-changing impact that doesn't need permission or patience. But if that wasn't enough, Paul Pierce stepped in and raised the stakes. He said what Caitlin's facing. It's unlike anything any player, man, or woman has ever dealt with, and that's coming from someone who's played under pressure his entire career. Paul didn't just toss out praise, he broke it down with the kind of honesty only a true legend can offer. Because when he looks at Caitlin, he doesn't just see potential, he sees pressure that he never had to carry, even at the peak of his own career. Hesitation you heard in Paul Pierce's voice. That wasn't just a pause, it was a search for comparison that came up empty. Because the truth is, there is no blueprint for what Caitlin Clark is going through. She didn't just join the league, she became the league's center of gravity overnight. Endorsements, TV ratings, non-stop media attention. Every headline has her name in it, and every player, whether they admit it or not, is watching her every move. Pierce has lived through hype. He knows what it's like to be crowned too soon, to feel the weight of being labeled the next big thing. But what Caitlin's facing, it's bigger, way bigger. She's juggling it all, race narratives, internal league politics, jealous locker rooms, and an unblinking spotlight that never shuts off. Pierce didn't call her flawless. He didn't say she's made it. What he did say loud and clear is that no one has ever been hit with this kind of storm, this quickly, and still kept their balance. And just when the moment felt like it couldn't go deeper, Kevin Garnett stepped in. KG doesn't do filters. He doesn't do diplomacy. He speaks from the chest, raw and uncut. So when he talked about Caitlin Clark, he stripped away all the noise. No PR, no sugarcoating, just truth. He made it personal. He made it spiritual. And in classic KG fashion, he made sure we all felt it. Just like that, Kevin Garnett flipped the whole Caitlin's being hated narrative on its head. While most people see the hard fouls, the icy stares, the non-stop backlash, and ask, why is this happening? KG sees it and says, good, because in his world, hate isn't random, it's earned. It means you're a threat. And Caitlin Clark, She's not just a talented rookie. She's a full-on disruption to the old system. She's shifting the money, shifting the media, shifting the culture, and all that pushback. That's just proof she's hitting the right nerves. KG knows the feeling. He's been the target. He's been the one they tried to stop, not because he was wrong, but because he was unstoppable. So this isn't sympathy. This is wisdom. Real game from someone who's lived it. His message: if they're not coming for you, you're not making enough noise. But just when you thought it couldn't get more real, another legend stepped in, one who wasn't just talking about hate. He was talking about consequences. Rick Barry didn't tiptoe around the issue. He didn't sugarcoat